A quagmire of horseshit. That's what I'm gonna call this video, even though the title may say something different. Because, folks, the Texas House, we have a serious problem in this country, and it is the GOP or Republicans, whatever you want to call them. They're making it harder to vote in their individual states. Now, the Texas House, who, let's not forget, we had the Texas Democratic legislators flee the state to avoid arrest because they went to Washington to beg the Democratic senators to find a way to put voting rights on, vote on voting rights and passed it somehow to get it past the filibuster. And Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin were unmoved by their actions. So these Texas legislators had no choice but to go back in full retreat. Their battle was lost because of Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin. And so their Texas House has now passed voter integrity laws, which there's nothing integrity about these laws. What it does is it makes it harder to mail in vote. It makes it harder in certain states for, voting on Sundays. It makes it harder to even, drop boxes are limited. What's the integrity in making it harder to vote? My state, Arizona, okay, you're registered to vote when you get your driver's license. Why can't that be your universal ID? And yes, I am aware that there are poor people who vote who can't afford an ID. And yet, instead of trying to solve that problem, we are making it harder to vote still. The GOP, like I said when I made my debut on JOA Media, I am concerned about one side of the political aisle in this country taking away the one American right, voting. They're making it harder. These 15 states have now made it official to make it harder for the elderly, the disabled, maybe even people of color to vote. Why does vote by mail have to have a million restrictions on it? Why do you have to now bring in multiple forms of IDs in certain states? That's just ludicrous. Your driver's license should be sufficient. This is getting insane, folks. So, and also, I have something to say to Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin. Okay, and also to the Republicans who passed these laws. Do you realize that the grandma and grandpas that you disenfranchised with your asinine laws may not be there to vote you back in because you put in provisions in your laws to strike their votes if the loser takes their case to court? So Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, was the filibuster worth it in 2024 if the Republican takes the case to court and has certain votes struck in the record? Because in Arizona, you can do that. My vote, if I vote for, Kristen Sinema, which I'm actually not going to do again, but hypothetically, if I vote for her and a Republican takes the case to court, and if I didn't vote in 2021 for some reason, and now I can be declared an irregular voter.